About a year ago, we did a story called Black Woman Pretends to Be White and Job Offers Skyrocket. And it was a story about an African-American woman who merely changed her name from one that sounded more stereotypically African-American to one that sounded more stereotypically white on her resume, did not change anything about her qualifications, experience, education, etc. And the number of interviews and job offers that followed were significantly higher than what she was getting with her traditionally sounding black name. The same thing has now happened with a man named Jose Zamora, who changed one letter in his first name. He removed the S, going from Jose to Joe, and all of a sudden, the number of callbacks and interviews that he was getting from his resume skyrocketed. And this is yet again essentially the same story. He did a month-long job search. He says he would log on to his computer every single morning, look at the internet for job listings, apply, have his resume on as many of these job websites as possible, sending out 50 to 100 inquiries a day, and was not getting any responses. So he said, let's just see what happens if instead of Jose, I become Joe Zamora. And all of a sudden he had a full inbox within a week. Again, remember, his qualifications didn't change. His education didn't change. His skills and employment background did not change. All that changed, Lewis, was his name. And it is yet another one of these examples of, we know about equal employment opportunity law. We know about job discrimination. We know about all that stuff. But there is something that is underlying that, which is at a much higher level of who even gets a phone interview before you even move to the next phase. And we've seen that moving away from a traditionally African-American name helped that woman a year ago. And now we see that Joe, or Jose as he's actually called, benefited from the same type of change.
It's kind of shocking to me, just the number of applications he was filling out, the number of resumes he was sending out, and getting almost no responses. I mean, I know there's a lot of xenophobia here in this country, but this is still shocking to me. So I'm very curious to know where he lived, where he's from.
Yeah, I don't have that information in front of me, and he may have been applying nationally. I mean, to be sending out 50 to 100 a day, you're either in one of the bigger metro areas where there are 50 to 100 new jobs each day that you can apply for, or you're kind of expanding your search geographically. And Lewis, I was thinking that this is not really that new of a thing, because there's a long history in this country of traditionally sounding Irish names, Italian names, and Jewish names being changed for essentially the same purposes, right? To avoid being disqualified before you are even known as an individual to a potential employer. And now it just doesn't happen to be those. It happens to be, as we saw, the African-American names, and here a Hispanic name.
Yeah, the bad guy's always changing. It just depends on what decade you're in, I guess. And now it seems to be Hispanics because they're taking our jobs, right?
Yeah, and it's amazing because I thought, which jobs are Hispanics taking? Are they taking the jobs that are the ones for undocumented immigrants working, in domestic services and on farms, etc.? Or is it the types of jobs where resumes are reviewed and education is evaluated? Because I didn't think that it was both. And as we're seeing here, just the name change made a huge difference there.